What's up, Vetters? Patrick here with Vetted. I have a follow-up to the Tic-Tac UFO video that Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp released last week. This one. Now, this was taken aboard the USS Jackson. I made a whole video about it. I highly recommend you go check it out. I'll put a link in the description. But in this video, you're going to hear from one of the witnesses directly, coming out for the very first time, showing his face, giving his name, and he is a current active member of the Navy, 23 years in. So in today's video, you will hear from the new Weaponized episode with Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. This gentleman explain what he saw and what did he make of it, and just give more details that they didn't give before. So I'm really excited to dive into this. Let's get this going. Now, before we do, I'd like to ask you, Vetters, please hit that like button for me. That really helps out the videos. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos every day about the UFO topic. Let's get this going.
Well, here we go. We've got an active duty U.S. Navy guy who is here to tell us what happened on the USS Jackson. You should introduce him.
All right. So I'll let him introduce himself even. This is Alex.
Alex, great to talk to you. Can we just start with what was in your decision-making to come forward with this, both today, showing your face and your name?
Yeah, so I was alerted by Admiral Tim that you and George Knapp had obtained a video of the ship I was on. So through Admiral Tim, he got me in contact with you, Jeremy.
So again, let me reiterate, this is the first time Alex is coming out, right? Alex Wiggins, currently in the Navy, 23 years, telling his story about what he saw on the USS Jackson, right? And the reason he's coming out is because he was reached out to by Admiral Tim Gallaudet, who has testified before Congress and is very well known in the UFO community, right? And so he decides to reach out to Jeremy and George and say, hey, I know about this video. I was there.
You know, look, your words, they're going to be twisted. You know, you said to me, we've talked about this. You know, you said the word horizon a few times, but I want you to get really clear. Did you see one of these craft come up out of the water or not out of the water?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when I say that I saw this craft come out of the water, it's nighttime. So I want to be clear when I say what I saw a light, and it was a decently bright light. So when you've been on the water as long as I have, you know the difference between an aircraft carrier's lights, a difference between an oiler's lights, a fishing, a cargo ship. It's what we learn when we freshly come into the Navy, especially as an operations specialist. We have to learn silhouettes. We have to learn lighting structures, things of that nature. It's just part of what our job is. Being senior enlisted, it's become part of very basic elementary things that you have to know when doing your job. Kind of learning the basics first, and then, applying what you experience throughout your time, and then kind of coming up with your solution as what you're seeing. So watching this light emerge from the water at a distance and then go into the air with a solid light, no blinking or anything, I've never noticed that and witnessed that ever in my life. That's kind of what triggered me to go back to my instruments, check it out, talk with the watch team and ask them, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Let's use other sensors. Let's use what we got to see what we're witnessing. One thing I do want to add is that when I witnessed that, I wasn't feeling threatened. I didn't think, the ship is going to get attacked. And why didn't I think that? Because multiple reasons. I'm not at a different level of ROE. I'm not postured in such a way off the coast of San Diego where we're receiving intel that there's a significant level threat, that we need to be at a higher threat level. None of this is happening, right? We're off the coast. We're doing workups. We're, doing training, things of that nature. So nothing made me think that we need to, trigger a higher level of threat warning. I indicated what I saw to the tactical action officer, the TAO, who's in charge of Combat Information Center, ICC-1. And it was just let's do more investigating. Let's see what we're looking at. And that's why we got Sapphire to look in that direction and notice what we noticed.
All right, so thanks to Alex Wiggins, we get a little more context about exactly what was happening when it wasn't even on camera, right? Which also helps. Again, someone who was actually there, knows about the systems, knows what they saw, right? It was, again, outside of the purview of the video that is being shared, right? Again, that's why I always say you can see a UFO video, you can see a UFO photo, but context matters. Eyewitness testimony about the events that precluded a video or, you know, came after, right, a video or a photo, right? Just more context, more information to help build a better story, right? More pieces to the puzzle to kind of give you an idea of exactly what the full picture is. So let's let Alex continue to describe exactly what he saw, because he makes a very, very good point right here.
Everything we see that is propelled into the air leaves a signature, and it's very clear.
Maybe one last thing, Jeremy, you can ask from me anyway. The 4 points that fly away. That's a pretty key moment, I would think. That's a pretty cool moment, right?
Absolutely. So the video stops. Where the video stops, I'll share this. This is kind of like, you know, something that probably everybody wants to know. I'll tell you what happens when the video stops. The video stops, and the CSM zooms out, and as the CSM zooms out, we notice that there's a total of 4. Now, on radar, I already noticed that once I came back in, I noticed the one that I was looking for visually, and I noticed other contacts in that same location. But when we first zoomed in on the contact in the video that you see, we only saw the one, and then we see the second one. It was only when we zoom out, we realize, holy crap, there's 2 more out here, a total of 4. And so we're just watching. What's the point of looking away? You know, we're witnessing something that most people don't get a chance to witness in their life. So we're just watching on Sapphire, and we're tracking it, and Sapphire's, you know, tracking one of them, and it's tracking and tracking and tracking. And as time goes by, we're like, let's just watch. I would say maybe 20, 30 seconds pass after the video stops, and all of a sudden, you just see all 4 of them take off to the northeast all at the same time, just out of nowhere. And if I had to talk speed, it would say like maybe 2 steps behind instantaneous. It wasn't like if you blink, it's gone. We had time to watch them go off into the distance, but really instantly. No noise, no sonic boom, no, effects in the water that, cause rippling in the water. Nothing. Nobody was affected. Nothing was affected. We didn't get a gust of wind to hit us. And that's anything else, I'm not a scientist, but anything else that could have been disturbed with that level of speed was not disturbed.
And these 4 points leave as if they're one object. Is that right?
Yes. So what in the Navy, we have these things called tactical signals. So we'll do tactical signals as an operations specialist with the bridge, and with a strike group or an ESG, which is a expeditionary strike group. We'll get together and we'll conduct exercises, and over different radio circuits, we will conduct different formations, and it's called by the formation commander, and they'll issue a way that everyone's supposed to turn, for example. And once they conduct and execute, they execute, and they all turn at the same time. So it's pretty cool to see ships do this. It was very reminiscent to see all 4 of those objects as if they were doing the same thing. They all executed at the same time, leaving. It's not like 3 of them left and then one was kind of like a little behind them. No, they were all in sync at the same time. And that's why I said earlier that it was my thoughts were either they synced together like we do in the Navy, and we all take off at turn at the same time, or, get in formation at the same time and execute the order at the same time, or one entity is controlling all 4 of those objects at the same time, and it's just synced together, all 4 objects. something like that is what went through my mind.
Now, I highly recommend going and checking out this full episode on Weaponized, because you can hear way more from Alex that I'm sharing in this video, as well as additional guests that George and Jeremy had on to talk about this new Tic-Tac video. You see, that Tic-Tac video has been spreading on mainstream news, and there is just more to talk about, more context. So I'll put a link in the description. Go check that out. Now, let's just hear one last time from Alex about what's he going to do now that he's talked about it and shown his face and revealed his name, right? What's the next step for him?
Where does it go from here for you? I mean, are you willing to testify if you were called, or fill out a form to Arrow, or take it further if you're asked?
Yeah, that's a good question, George. I'm not sure. I definitely, I see myself as someone that's just stepping up to share his experience. I don't see it as anything other than that. Where this goes from here, I don't know. I wouldn't mind, just adding my voice to those that have come before me, like yourself and Jeremy. I don't mind. But that's how I see myself. Just someone giving data as eyewitness testimony. Again, I love the Navy. Been in the Navy for 23 years. Don't plan on leaving it anytime soon. And just wanted to share my experience with the world.
All right, vetters, that's it for today's video. Don't forget to leave your comments down below about what you think about what Alex said in these videos, right? Again, full links in the description to the video I made about the Tic-Tac, as well as this new updated episode of Weaponized with Alex Wiggins. As always, thank you for watching, vetters. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all. Peace.